Hello everyone and welcome back to showing off my art. I'm a little out of breath because I just did like a 5-minute chase with my dog for a toy. But we are here. And it's been a hot minute since I've done a showing off my art. However, you're going to notice that these videos are going to be a bit more frequent and significantly shorter. And if you don't remember the video I made a while ago, I don't know why you would. Basically, I just fill you in on the catch up to speed. I wasn't satisfied with how the videos were typically turning out, how they were made and everything. They just didn't seem right. They didn't feel right to me in terms of how they were made and everything. And basically what would happen is I would get through an indeterminate amount of every generation of art in like a 30 to 40 minute session, and then there usually be about 2 or 3 of those, and that would cover the whole generation. But the thing with those is hearing me talk about art for such a long period of time is boring as fuck, or at least I assume it would be to most people. I haven't personally gone back to watch them, I've just been too busy, but I imagine that they weren't that entertaining for most people. So what I'm doing now is I'm showing off 10 pieces of art. Now every generation, in case you don't know, is 100 pieces of artwork. So I show off 10 every episode. That means there's 10 episodes of one generation. We are on generation 11. And so there'll be 10 episodes of Generation 11 and 10 episodes of Generation 12 and whatnot going forward. That doesn't mean I'm going to go back and redo the old generations in this format, at least not right now. I won't, but it is to say that I hope it makes it more digestible and far more interesting in that regard. Without further ado, I suppose we can get started. Now, I have been done Generation 11 for quite a while. I'll put the official date up here as I forget it off the top of my head. However, what I will say about it is I meant to get to this a lot sooner. I got so distracted and so consumed with other things, video games, school, filming, and everything. I completely neglected one of the core series of my channel. Admittedly, in part, that also can only work. The series can only continue if I finish drawing 100 drawings. And seeing as right now I'm at 1,188, technically I'm not far off from being able to make another series of videos after this. For now though, in the spirit of things, we can carry forth along. These drawings were made, I want to say a summer or two ago, I don't know, it's hard to say for sure. But we're going to see if they hold up. I'm going to talk about them, we're gonna dissect them, and at the end, be sure to drop a comment with which one ever was your favorite of the bunch. Whether the whole generation or just the 10 you saw in this particular episode. I'm open to you. Without further ado, let's get to our first one. For those of you who are unaware of this particular version of art that I do, I draw what started as Paper Mario. Different Mario characters in the Paper Mario art style. That has since transferred over. I've done FNAF characters, I've done Sonic characters, I've done Inklings, I've done just Brawl Stars, a whole lot of characters have been done. And my hair is really, it's getting in the way. But that hasn't changed. So this whole cycle of ours, this little thing, this little shindig is continuing forth. And starting us off, what kicked off the previous generation, the other reason I want to mention, I don't mean to be so scatterbrained, the other reason I want to mention the fact that it's been a while since I drew Generation 11 is because, as you can see, I have my computer right here with the Mario Wiki pulled up because I will need that, maybe not for this episode, but for future ones, because I don't remember half of the people's names. There are some very obscure Mario enemies in here. But starting us off with Generation 11, ending after the last generation ended with, I believe, Shelly from Brawl Stars, the culmination of that, we have got ourselves Jackie. A skin for Jackie from the game Brawl Stars. but this is from the Brown and Friends collection. Now, personally, I really like the way the colors stand out on this one. I'll move my hand so this way. I hate this fucking... As you can see, that I hate that phone. Give me a second. All right, that might make it better. It might not. Who knows? Where did I put Jackie? There he is. Right. So Jackie, there we go. Now the light's on him. I like the way the colors pop out. We got like around 2 to 3 different pinks in here. Everything I feel like is crystal clear. And for those of you who are seeing this for the first time, and I only preface new viewers in this one especially because, again, it's been a while since I've recorded one of these. Basically, I draw the brawler in pencil, outline them in Sharpie, and then color them in. Everything. Every time there is a different color, it is separated by black. That is, at least in my opinion, the only way to truly do the Paper Mario style unless you are part of the team that makes the Paper Mario style games, in which case, fuck me, my opinion does not matter in the slightest. But for the sake of my own rules and consistency within my drawings, everything is divided by black. That's just the basic nature of the game. So Jackie's here, fits on one page, no cuts or anything. There is a hole, as you can see right here, a big one. But beyond that, I feel like this one actually translated pretty well, all things considered. Some Brawl Stars characters do not, and this one I feel like really stood out, was very vibrant, captured kind of the essence of what I was going for very well, and I am pretty pleased with this one to start things off. Honestly, I think I can be proud of Past Me for that one. But carrying on, it seems we just did a collection of skins from brawlers that I hadn't previously done these particular skins for, because the next brawler we got is Frank. Specifically, the Brawl Stars community created one that ended up being added to the game. This one, so many purples and everything. Honestly, by this point, I feel like I really caught my stride in terms of making the colors and everything really pop, in terms of, you know, truly defining everything with a significant amount of vibrance. And I love how all the purples work with each other, you know, the flames and everything. I think this is all very well handled. The only thing I don't like as much is the fact that the sword basically isn't connected. As you can see, the main blade is going this way and the handle is right here, so it's a little bit disjointed, but that's more a nitpick than anything. I really like this skin in game, and I really like how it translated to paper. There is a hole right here. The only hole, oh no, there's another hole right there. So there's 2 holes on this drawing, but beyond that, if it fit on one page, you know, everything is crystal clear and everything translated very well. I'm actually very pleased with this one. If I may be so bold, more pleased with this one than I was with the Jackie. This Frank skin turned out very, very nicely. I have very few critiques, and I am very proud of myself for this one, because god damn, that one might be part of the Timeless collection, all things considered. Number 3, going again a bit more obscure, cleaning up some things I may have missed from previous drawings, previous sketches. We have a Cheep Cheep, but not just any Cheep Cheep, a Cheep Cheep possessed by Mario from the game Mario Odyssey. A game I have yet to play on the channel and do intend to, I just haven't gotten around to it. Either way, it's a basic Cheep Cheep with a Mario hat and a Mario mustache. It's really nothing that crazy. It was just something I neglected to draw when I was drawing the other Cheep Cheep. And so it's, you know, pretty compact, pretty small, very simplistic, mind you, and, well, there's nothing wrong with simplicity. I am just saying that there's hardly much to talk about, because there's nothing more to it than what you see here. I mean, I don't think the colors work together the best, but it translated fine. I don't think I could improve it in any way. It's Mario as a Cheep Cheep from Mario Odyssey, and it honestly works. Obviously, I traced one of the previous Cheep Cheep to make the Mario Cheep Cheep, but beyond that, I also made the Cheep Cheep before Mario possesses it. So as you can see, you know, I think I outlined these 2 at the same time, and then just did this one first and this one second, just because I wanted to do something a little different. After having traced this Cheep Cheep, well, Okay, so obviously as a Cheep Cheep, this shares the same size and everything and composition as like the default Cheep Cheeps and everything, right? So technically, this is the same Cheep Cheep as the other Cheep Cheep. There's really no fundamental difference between this purple version of regular Cheep Cheep versus the red Cheep Cheeps from most Mario games. And it's not like the other purple Cheep Cheep that have the spikes on the head that, you know, charge after you in like New Super Mario Bros. Wii or something. I think I just wanted to do something different, so I started with this one and then did this one, because this one is technically the precursor to this one. I don't know if that makes any sense. If you haven't played Mario Odyssey, this doesn't translate very well at all, and I don't know if I'm explaining it right. However, this one is technically second to this one, but I drew this one first, so this is the second one. And they were very close together, they used the same colors and everything. The only difference is this one's a little bit taller because, well actually no, surprisingly they're nearly the same height, but this one is still taller. And otherwise there is no difference. The only difference is that there's a Mario hat and a mustache on the one that's not the second one. Because comics. I've been watching too much Comic Drake, okay? Next we are 4 characters into our 10 character entourage. And admittedly, this episode is going to go a bit longer than most of the other ones just because I have to explain the new format and everything right off the bat. Next, we continue with the obscure Brawl Stars skins for brawlers we've already drawn in previous generations, because now we get to Action Hero Squeak, which when I drew Squeak hadn't come out. This one is not one of my favorite skins in-game, but in terms of drawings, it's not bad. I like how the different shades of green pop off from each other. It's simple, you know, you can... That's really the thing with these Brawl Stars skins that I appreciate, is that there's a lot of like small details to them, and sometimes, especially the older drawings, they don't all get seen, they don't all get recognized. It kind of gets mishmashed into like a pool of colors separated by black, and it really doesn't work. I feel like everything here is so vibrant and so compact enough that you can tell what everything is, and that's probably my favorite part about this one, about the Jackie one, about the Frank one, is that these all work. It's all clear who they are and what is happening, and like the pins and everything, like it all stands out. And that's really what I wanted more than anything. And so while this isn't my favorite skin by any means, especially for Squeak, it's not a bad translation. I'm pretty proud of it. I don't know how much more I could improve on it, if at all. And I think it works. I really do. I think, personally, it's pretty good. I mean, I don't know, I just like all the different colors and everything, and how I am a sucker. You'll notice that. I'm a sucker for when you have a lighter version of a color and a darker version of color clashing through most of the composition of a character. Just like with the Skeleton King Frank, or the whatever that one's name is. And same with this one, with the greens and then the different shades of gray and the belt and everything. Like it works for me. I like it. Sorry. Next one on the list, sticking with Brawl Stars for number 6, is Ice Queen Amber. Now this one I'm not as big a fan of, although I do still very much like it. Obviously traced off of Amber. This one I hadn't drawn when it came out, and now I get to draw it here. I gotta take a sip of water, Jesus Christ. Alright, so Ice Queen Amber, the former, I think, like epic or mythic brawler skin that turned legendary. It works, you know, and there's like at least like 4 or 5 different shades of blue in this girl's kind of aesthetic, and I very much enjoy that. I think for me, it's just something about the face is a little off of me. It looks kind of like trollish or smurfish in a way that's not really what I was going for. But like, it's still a compact drawing that gets everything across that it needs to. It's got one hole at the arm here. Otherwise, it fits on one page. And you know, I'm pleased with it for the most part. I don't think, if my memory serves me right, I wasn't the most pleased with it when I made it. And I couldn't tell you why for sure. It's just a feeling I get, but no, I'm more pleased with it now than I was before, and I think for what it's worth, it's pretty good. Again, I like a lot of these. I don't know how I could really improve them. I feel like I've hit like a certain skill ceiling where it's like I'm doing pretty good, and while I don't notice the change now, even though it's been a little while, I'm sure I'll notice a change like 5 years later that I would have done something different with. But I'm still very pleased with this one. It's still pretty good. The colors are vibrant and everything. I think it works. I really do. This is probably one of my least favorite ones so far, aside from kind of the cheap chips. But the cheap chips weren't inherently bad. They were just kind of basic. Continuing with Brawl Stars, we have Cotton Candy BB. And Cotton Candy BB, I don't like the eyes at all. I hate it. Upon first look, I hate the eyes so much. I like this skin. This is one of the main skins I use in game. But oh my god, I hate the eyes. I hate the eyes so much. There's a hole right there. She fits on one page. Basically the same height and everything as regular BB, but Jesus Christ, those eyes. She looks high and or drugged and or disoriented, all of which could apply. It could be an all of the above situation, but this is my least favorite one of the bunch. I could improve on the face, is what I'm saying. Otherwise, I like kind of the angular perspective of her weapon. I like the clothing and everything. I like how it all kind of works together. I like the hair and everything, the earrings and all. It's just the face. The face is the only thing I actually dislike. And that brings it down a good few points for me. But you know, que sera, sera. It is what it is. Now we are at, how many are we at right now? Jackie, Frank, Cheap Cheeps, Squeak, Amber, Jackie, Frank, Cheap Cheeps, Squeak, Amber, BB. Okay, so we got 3 more to go. Next up is another. I just assume we're gonna be with Brawl Stars for a little while. Next up is another skin for a brawler, and this is M's, specifically Harajuku M's. There's a hole right here and a hole right here. Admittedly, I think with this skin I was always a little apprehensive as to how I would do it. Do I think it translated very well? Yeah, I think it did its job. This was never my favorite skin by any means, but I think it does what it needs to. I think everything looks pretty good. I can't really complain. I think maybe the head's a little big, but then again, that's not on me, though, because she's traced from regular M's. That's just, you know, how Draw Anything Animations drew their brawlers before ultimately taking down all that content, which is something I do have to talk about, because now a lot of brawlers, and this is something I'll touch on in greater depth later on, but I have to create a lot of the brawler models myself now, whereas before I got inspiration and I utilized, and then I would routinely shout out like Draw Anything Animations and the other guy. I can never remember his name. As long as series has been going on for, I can never remember that guy's name. But Draw Anything Animations has taken down majority of their content, including all the model stuff that I used to use. So yeah, I gotta all the new brawlers, all the brawlers I haven't drawn yet, I kind of have to just make on my own. And figure that out, which in a way is a cool little challenge. And when I finish them, I feel very proud of what I've made. But yeah, it definitely has made the process take longer. And it's a shame, because I really liked how they made their brawlers, and how that kind of looked Paper Mario-esque. But here we are. Such is the way of life. Either way, I really don't have much to say about this skin, especially because I have nothing really to compare it to. Like their Jackie skin before it, I don't really use this skin too much. I think I have this one. I don't have the Brown and Friends one, but I have this skin in-game. I just don't use it. I use DJ3MZ. But it's just there. I mean, it's good and everything. I don't like it, but I feel like it's kind of middle of the road for me, because I don't care for the version of it that actually exists, that this drawing is based on. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It's just a weird kind of middle ground where I think I did the drawing well, but I don't really care about its original source material, so it's kind of just a toss-up that it's there, that I did well, but it's not something you don't care. Next up, number 8 is another one I was a little apprehensive as to how I would do. And this is actually a guy that I've considered going back and just completely redrawing in general, because I'm not too pleased with how I've drawn a lot of his skins. But alas, here is Banana's Colt. Banana's Colt is a monkey version of Colt, who is one of my all-time favorites. It's okay. I don't like it as much. I don't feel like it's as strong or as compact as a lot of the other ones I did. And maybe that's just attributed to how the skin is in general. Obviously not every drawing can look as great, otherwise they'd all look kind of shitty. But I don't know, it's just kind of there, and I feel like I could have done better with it in every way, but in no way in particular. Like, I don't have a specific idea as to how I'd improve upon it, but I don't feel completely satisfied with how this one turned out. And again, that's the way I feel for most of Colt's skins and how I've drawn Colt since the beginning. He was the first brawler I ever drew, and actually no, that's a lie, that was Mortis. Mortis was the first brawler I ever drew. But Colt was the first one I ever went and did the entire set of skins for. And I don't know, I've never fully been satisfied with how Colt's turned out. Maybe Colt's just not meant to translate well to paper style, but I don't know. Anyway, he's got a Colt. He's got a Colt. Really English? Okay. He's got a hole right here, and right here. So 3 holes fit on one page. Banana guns. The banana guns are probably my favorite part of the whole skin. Yeah, no, I'm not pleased with that one. Not pleased. And then that one being number 8, number 9, and number 10 are actually still Brawl Stars themed. But these ones are a lot quicker, a lot smaller, and a lot easier to handle, because these aren't a specific brawler. These are the drawings of the super of a specific brawler. If you don't play Brawl Stars, it's an online battle game, typical 3v3, but sometimes 5v5, sometimes 1v1. There's a whole variety of things, sometimes 1v1 times 10. And so every brawler, as is typical meta stuff, not metas in like, what's happening today, metas in just like, there's an assortment of tiers and everything. Every brawler has a different ability, and they do different things. They have different amounts of ammo, and they move at different speeds, and they have different attacks, and it's just all, typical PvP stuff, right? So there's this character, there's this brawler in Brawl Stars, and his name is Ash. And Ash, who is stuck in a trash can, whoops, I dropped the drawing. Ash, who is stuck in a trash can, he spawns these little rat drones as part of his super. And so basically in lore, they kind of just help clean up the place and everything. But in game, they're used as mini drones to hurt people and stuff. So this is one of the mini drones. This is the rat drone, a cute little thing, one of the smallest drawings I've done in paper style. They're compact and they're kind of just there. These are actually more difficult than drawing Ash most of the time, because they're so hard and there's no definitive like pictures or anything of their specific model. So you have to kind of like go to the test ground, build up your super with Ash, play your super, screenshot it, and then zoom in that screenshot to see details and stuff for half of these, because it is not easy to find pictures of these guys. But they're basic in design and everything. They're small little rat dudes, and I think it's okay. I don't think there's anything specific. I don't think it's anything special, but they're okay. I don't have a problem with them. These are the little rats. And next up, we have more, because I didn't do these initially when I drew Ash. So this whole next little bit is just me showing off Ash rats. And next we get the ones with the Ninja Ash skin. So I guess the Ninja rats. And I like these ones a lot more, in the sense that they are far more detailed, so they're far more appealing to look at and, demonstrate far more in terms of purpose and stuff. Point is, they're small and still nothing spectacular, still nothing like eye-popping wow, still nothing that's gonna, you know, excite me to look at or make me feel proud that I drew them, but they are there, they complete whatever I was aiming to complete, and, you know, here they are. Nifty little guys, huh? Either way, so that ends the first. That was 10 drawings. That ends the first video of the 10 video series of showing off my art Generation 11. As you can see, this video went nearly 30 minutes, which is not exactly what I was intending to do, but it is there. And, you know, with that being said, imagine videos roughly about this length, but showing off like 3 times as many drawings in basically the same amount of time, if not just a little bit more. As you can imagine, I had to rush through a lot more drawings without spending a whole lot of time talking about how I felt about them and what I thought. Or maybe I just really slowed down that much and had so much to talk about that I just filled the time in that particular regard. But I do like this format, and I think I can take a lot more time and appreciate what I'm talking about a lot more. And I'm actually, you know, even just from recording this without even having edited yet, I am much more satisfied with how this video turned out. And so I think I will continue to do this. Now, we've got a bunch more to get through. A good 90 more drawings to get through for this generation alone, and I assure you, we move away from Brawl Stars very, very soon. So if you want to see more of this, and you want to see more of my drawings, and you want to keep figuring out what made up Generation 11, then I implore you to wait. It's going to take me a minute to post the second part of this, but thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys with more of this very, very soon. More gaming, more vlogs, whatever else comes. I hope you enjoyed.